This is Throwin Down with Jess and Lily.
That makes no sense.
You can be funny and not be offensive.
The same way this is your workspace, this is my workspace too.
It's never just sports.
It's never just sports.
It's never just sports.
You'll be a little smarter, and we'll be a little smarter, and it'll be great. I was close to being right. You know what's interesting?
If you don't agree with this, then just turn us off.
Ooh, all right. On that note,
We're throwing down.
Hey, everyone. Welcome back to Throwin Down with Jess and Lily. I'm Lily Caffrey Levine.
I'm Jess King.
And this is going to be another action-packed episode because everything is happening all the time now. But Jess, I'm going to start off telling you a little bit of a story about my weekend. I went golf. It's sports related for sure. I went golfing this weekend.
It's never just sports.
It's never just sports. Let me tell you. I went golfing this weekend. Actually yesterday. With my dad. We had a lovely time. And I really enjoy golf. I really like going to the driving range. It's something that's like very relaxed for me. You don't have to be good at the driving. I mean, you have to be like, you got to know what you're doing, but no one's like watching you. There's no score or anything. And I really like that. So I actually golf, like go out and play 9 or 18 holes, maybe like once every 5 years. And that's completely fine with me. I really enjoy it, but I don't do it. And I forget once I start playing how truly awful I am. I am so bad at golf, like just horrendous. It was a pretty like decent course, like par 3, 4, 5, like super low key. There was not a single other person in the course. There were like a few people later on in the day, but I am so bad, like so bad. And it's weird because I like still really enjoy it, but I think I have like no upper body strength anymore. I used to, but I don't think I do anymore. And I just have no like wherewithal when it comes to like, okay, you should really be holding the club this way and blah, 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 blah. Like I'm just like really there to have a good time. Like I respect the game. I appreciate it, but it is just like not something I'm good at. And so I had the scorecard, whatever. And I just kind of started like giving my vibe a score, like because I was just like I'm not even like it's almost embarrassing. Like it was taking me like 10 strokes to get on the green, like it just so bad.
Welcome to my life.
I also have a pretty like go big or go home attitude about it. Where like for example, there's this one hole that had this like huge pond. Like you really gotta hit it.
Huge pond.
Yeah, huge pond. You really have to hit it like 200 yards. Not from the tee, but like after your first drive to get it over the pond. And there was a section of it that was much more narrow. And my dad was like, try to go a little bit to the left and hit it over the section that was narrow, which I probably could have gotten it over, but I was at like the widest point of the pond. And I was kind of like, you know what? I'm here. I'm not good at this. I was like, go big or go home. I'm hitting it right over the middle. And I hit a beautiful shot. It was such a good shot. That only makes it like 50 yards because I have no upper body strength. But it was like if a regular golfer had hit that shot, it would have been so nice. And so that's my thing. I'm like, I could
Lily, not an actual golfer.
Not an actual golfer. I could have tried to do the more like sensible thing, which like people that care would do that. But I'm just like, whatever. I'm hitting it right over the sand trap, right over the pond. I'm probably going to lose my ball anyway, so might as well have fun doing it.
I can never follow the ball. That's like the hardest thing about golf. I have the shortest attention span. I just lose it.
I can't. I have like trouble seeing. It was really, really cloudy and like kind of dark. So I
have terrible eyesight too, period.
If the ball went up into the sky, I would try to follow it and I just like could not see it.
The sky.
So I just started giving myself like on the 7th hole, I gave myself an alligator, which is like an Arrested Development reference if anybody watches that show. But there was one hole I played really, really well. Like I crushed it. I made some really good strokes. And
was it 9 holes or 18?
I just played 9. But it was like a par 4, and I think I made it in 6. But I gave myself a metaphorical 1 because I've played that hole really well.
Really? This is just simply not how you play golf.
No, not at all. But it was also, it's not how you play golf at all. But me and Peyton were just out having a good time, like super low stakes. I was like, whatever, we're having fun with it.
Yeah, who cares? I never play golf the right way anyway. I'm like so bad at it. I don't even want to tell you my golf.
I totally like respect the game
embarrassing.
though. I really enjoy doing it. I'm just not good
My
at
mom
it.
plays. She's super good at it. I don't like to play with her because then I have to admit that she's better than me at something.
It happens. So that was what I did this weekend.
Yeah, Lily was like in Maine all weekend. She was gone, MIA. I was reacting to all the news alone because Lily didn't have any service.
I found out about Trump's tax returns for the first time I think in the decade. Found out on cable news. Like they announced it on cable news, and I was like, wow, I don't watch that anymore.
Cable, never heard of her.
I know. I was like, when was the last time I found something out on cable?
Well, to fill you guys in, and I guess am I gonna fill Lily in?
Let's talk news. Well, I'm caught up now, but
what the hell has been going on?
Ooh.
I'll tell you what. So,
news of the week.
Lakers and the Heat are in the NBA Finals this year. The Heat advanced the other day. And with all of that going down and all the drama in the NBA, Doc Rivers is out as the Clippers head coach. Not so surprisingly for me, to be honest. Rivers has been eliminated very poorly in a couple of his last playoff appearances as a head coach, so he kind of hasn't been living up to his career coaching record of 943 to 681, which is a huge difference. As you could tell, he is a good coach, but this Clippers team, I guess I should say, didn't live up to what everyone expected them to do in the beginning of the season last year when Kawhi and PG reunited on the Clippers and did their whole Shazam. The big press conference, Steve Ballmer screaming and yelling is the only thing I remember, just to get knocked out
long ago
by the Nuggets. Does that feel like forever ago?
I totally forgot about that. Let's
but
talk.
He was yelling the whole time.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to be great. I mean, they were good.
Clippers.
What do you think happened?
I mean, I think basketball happened, to be quite frank. I think basketball has been happening a lot quite recently. I think basketball happened. Is it like, I don't want to oversimplify it at all, but with the Clippers, it really strikes me, and obviously with the bubble, everything's very different, but it was less to me like the Clippers aren't bad. Everyone else was better. Like, that was kind of the way. Like,
I think they went into the series against the Nuggets with a no sweat it attitude. They were up 3-1 and then they blew it. And I don't know if it was because they were getting too cocky. I think, yeah, honestly. I mean,
I think I love to, like, I believe
I wasn't their biggest fan. I wasn't their biggest fan in the series. So
I really do believe, like, numbers never lie, but I also believe in, like, the existential aspects of the game, and that, like, I feel like more so this season than in others. Like, I feel like I've watched a lot of games where it's very clear one team is better, and they might not be winning. They might not be the team that's up, but there is one team that you're like, I kind of was like, I was talking to somebody about this. I was kind of saying, like, it's weird how, like, sometimes teams will win a series, but the other team was better. Like. So
you're saying that the Clippers were better than the Nuggets?
Not necessarily in this situation, but I'm more so speaking to, because no, I'm definitely not saying that, but I think just more so the ideas behind, like,
well, they were better
Sunday,
though,
like,
in the regular
Sunday
season
kind of games where, like, you go to play the game and literally anybody can come out winning, and there's obviously factors that go into that, but, like, anything can happen sort of thing. And
exactly. And this is what we talked about last week with Jordan about how I see the benefit in a 7-game series when something like this happens.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, you're up 3-1, but anything can happen, and that is exactly what happened.
So that's why I think anything can happen. And so then for the argument of the Nuggets being the better team, which is the argument I'm making, I think, the Nuggets show they were the better team because they were better for 3 games in a row.
Exactly. They were like consistent.
It wasn't a back and forth 1-1, 2-1, 2-2, 2-3.
Exactly.
It was, they came out, they had a slow start, And then they went out and showed that they were the better team, and the Clippers.
And then the Clippers blew double-digit leads, like, continually for the rest of the series.
So then let me ask you about this, because I think that it's a similar, you can make a similar argument for it, but like the Heat and the Celtics, watching those games, I think it's really, really hard to say it is very obvious that one team is better than the other.
Yes.
I think there are games where I'm like, wow, the Heat are unfreaking stoppable. Like, how could you even get in their way? But then there's games where I'm like, the Celtics have just this crazy chemistry, and they're just everything with them is like so fluid.
I really had no idea who was going to win that series with the Celtics and the Heat. I was debating in my head every game. I would turn off the TV after one game and be like, okay, the Celtics got it. And then the next game I'd be like, oh, no, the Heat are gonna get it.
But then
I was in a debate with myself, but for the Clippers and the Nuggets, I deep down had a feeling that the Nuggets were gonna win the entire time.
Yeah, but then I think when it comes down to the end of the series last night, it was much more clear that I think the Heat were the better team.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean the Celtics aren't a good team. The Celtics are a great team. There's just certain things, like I think defensively the Heat can just like watching that Heat team, it was very clear like how important defense is when playing a team like the Celtics, because the Celtics can put up as many threes and they'll take the game away. But if you can stop them from doing that, if you have to force them to go to the rim and they can't do it, then by all means run away with it. Exactly. So it was just a lot more like towards the end of it, I was like, okay, the Heat are the team that's more well equipped to win the series, for a variety of reasons. And like, I don't know if it was a best of 9 series, does that change? Maybe, but
that would be crazy.
I think we should.
That would simply be too much basketball.
I think we should just play like best of 13 series.
No.
And that's the whole basketball season. That's the whole season. You just play. It's just a brag.
I would hate. Like, is there ever such thing as too much basketball?
I don't know. I don't think there's such a thing as too much. I have been a little overwhelmed lately. Because this is gonna sound weird. The games are weirdly like exhausting. Like, because they're so action-packed. You're rarely watching a game now that's just like a 20-point blowout, and that's it. Even the games that are 20-point blowouts, they're so back and forth. Like, it's never decided in the first quarter, really. And so I just feel like I'm much more attentive to them, and I'm paying much closer attention. And I just feel so tired after. And it's every night, or it used to be
my eyes.
Yeah, I've been getting some like screen headaches recently. But now Lakers and Heat, I think is going to be like,
oh, I'm so freaking excited.
It's going to be like, it's going to be good.
I think I want the Heat to win. I do. I don't know why.
So I have a few thoughts, because I was thinking about this as the Celtics were lying down and losing. It was tough. It was just, that was the hard thing to watch. And I was just like, because they really could have come back for a long time in that game. Yeah. And then the last like 3 minutes when they still could have come back, it was just like, there was nothing there. And I was like, all right.
Lying down.
No, I think, okay. So I was thinking about who I want to win or who I think is going to win or whatever. I think there's an element to it where like after Kobe and everything, I think it would be just like super stellar if the Lakers win. And people were saying that before the pandemic, like it feels like one of those destiny stories, like the Lakers are going to win the championship and it's LeBron's second year there and all of that. And I still kind of endorse that. Like, I think I might want the Lakers to win, but I love a good goon squad in the Heat. Like, they are just so, they are so fun to watch. They are just so crazy. And I think it's fun watching, and people might disagree. People do disagree with this. I think watching defensive basketball can be really fun when people do it like the Heat do it. They are just like, because they do both. They completely shut people down in their offensive zone, and then they go up and Duncan Robinson hits a three. Like, and you're just like, okay, so this isn't just like defensive, like it's a low scoring game. Like, you are completely shutting your opponent down, and then you're coming and like, I'm pretty sure it felt like, to me, this isn't how it actually went down. It felt like Tyler Hero did not miss a shot. And I know he did, but like I missed
maybe them.
Like, and so I was just like, this is just like it's a different breed of basketball to watch, is watching the Heat play. They are such a fun team. So I feel like they're like, Adebayo said it. He was like, we're all underdogs. Everyone on this team came in with a chip on their shoulder. And I love a good underdog. So, and I think
I love a good underdog.
The Lakers are very much so not an underdog. Which is why it's like it'll be like watching. I think it would be awesome if the Lakers win. This is where I feel kind of like I'm cool either way. But I think like the Lakers are just so like 2015 Golden State. Like I'm like, oh yeah, they're gonna win and they're gonna win the next 10 and it'll be fun and whatever. So I think if the Heat win, I just feel like the Lakers have a lot of years to win. Actually, maybe the Heat do too. I don't know.
Either way, we're going to have a great series. And speaking of great series, other side of basketball, WNBA playoffs are still going on. Seattle Storm made it to the finals. That was a 3-game series win. And remember, guys, these are only 5 games. So after 3, they won. The Aces and the Suns continued the battle to a Game 5 tonight. It is Tuesday as we're recording this. Game was on at 7:30. And by tomorrow, we will have a new champion crowned for that game, that series. Not really a champion. I shouldn't call it a champion.
That sentence really got away from you.
Yeah, it did. I don't really know. I wasn't reading at that point, so I was like, brain fart. Anyway, speaking of champions, properly as we can call them, Tampa Bay Lightning won the Stanley Cup final last night against the Dallas Stars. They finished it in a Game 6, and the Stars kind of had a huge underdog approach to this whole series. I thought we talked about them previously a couple weeks ago when they were on their win streak. They were really hot. I thought for a point that they were going to win it, but Tampa Bay.
I think everybody did, right?
So yeah, but Tampa Bay is so aggressive.
So good, but I felt like watching the Stars.
Everyone really thought that the Stars, I think
it was like I think it made a lot of sense to me that like, all right, I think Tampa Bay can run away with this, but it also was like it was hard to imagine Dallas not like just putting everything on the line to win it, which they did, but obviously didn't come out with the outcome that they had hoped for. But an end of a weird season, my guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's all coming to an end right now anyway, and I talked about this, like, I bartend 2 days a week during the day, and I was so used to when I started doing that, having all these games like on TV, and I would watch them when I get bored, and now I just feel so like stuck up, like, man, give me sports on all the time, all day, 24/7, and now it's just not happening, and everything's going to come to an end soon, I guess. Baseball playoffs are going on, but I kind of been anti-baseball, like the same way kind of you are, Lily, I feel like. Not anti, but
yeah,
I just feel about it.
I mean, I love baseball. I always say like baseball's my first love, but it's hard for me. I'm just like everybody else. Like I wish I was special, but I'm not. It's really
special.
Thank you. It's hard for me to sit down and want to watch a baseball game when there is a basketball game and a football game and a hockey game on, and the basketball and hockey games are playoffs. And it's like, that's why I think there's part of me that really enjoys baseball, is because in the summer, it's the only thing on, and I really like watching it, and it's very relaxing for me, and I think it's really fun. But it's not about, like, I guess it's not about that I think basketball and hockey and football are more exciting. But just about the fact that it's like, it's a playoff basketball game that's going to be the most talked about game of the year, which they all end up being that way recently, or it's going to be a low stakes baseball game in which one team is going to be up by 29 runs with no hope of, like, why am I going to watch that? And I think that, like, I mean, I think if we're going to talk about the big picture of it here, like, I think that does hurt baseball, and it's obviously a temporary thing for this year, but it's like, it totally does hurt baseball that it's on at the same time as hockey and basketball. And obviously that'll change a little bit, like in the next 2 or 3 weeks, it'll just be baseball and football. So baseball will obviously get a bigger slice of the pie. But no, I honestly, like, I always want to say that, like, I love watching baseball. If baseball's on, I want to be watching it, and I do. But like when it came down to it, of like, okay, there's a playoff hockey game and a playoff basketball game that are on, and I'm just flipping between those channels. The baseball game just doesn't get put on, and I feel bad about that. I do, but it's just the fact of the matter.
I mean, I find a real joy in going to games over even watching them on TV. I always find myself looking at my phone, doing something else when I have it on TV. And then ultimately, like you said, changing the channel where like when I'm at a game, it's the atmosphere, it's different. I mean, I follow it, you know, I know what's going on in the news, but like, I've never also been into baseball. You said it's your first love. I've never really felt that way about baseball. So anyway, that's what's been going on in the world, folks.
We'll do the Is Baseball Dying podcast another day, because that is something I don't think it is, but we'll get into that later.
Lily, would you like to introduce the new thing that we're going to do today?
Okay, yeah. So the big thing we're going to do today, I'm super excited for this. I got this idea kind of from Saturday Night Live does a bit like this, where Colin Jost and Michael Che, the Weekend Update hosts, for Christmas or a gift-giving holiday, they gift each other jokes for the show that day. So they write each other's jokes, and they're put in the cue cards, and they do not see them before. So they just read them off. So I thought it would be fun. We are going to do a take swap, or a freezing cold take swap.
Freezing cold take
I wrote some hot takes for Jess, and Jess wrote some hot takes for me, and we are going to read them off in a like kind of first take like way. And we have not seen them yet. We don't know what the other person wrote, so they're probably going to be like super out of character and just awful. But disclaimer is that we do not believe any of this likely, and we're just messing with each other. So, do you want to go first, or do you want? We'll switch off. We'll switch off. Okay.
So should I start first, or you want to start first?
I'll go.
You go.
Yeah, because I
read my first one first.
Okay.
I'm so excited.
I'm not reading that one. That's offensive.
Please.
No, I'm reading the second one. Okay. Oh God. No, I don't want to read. Okay. The Boston Red Sox's billion-dollar organization made the right decision trading David Price and Mookie Betts, 2018 MVP, Silver Slugger, Gold Glove winner, to the Dodgers for average players, all in the name of avoiding luxury tax. I'm okay.
Was that the wound that you tried to seal for so long?
It was. Okay. You go. You go.
You don't have any words left to say to that one.
No, I mean, I just think this is like people do the argument of like, well, maybe avoiding luxury tax will be good, blah, 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 blah. I'm not saying you're wrong about that, but I am saying, I don't know if anybody's watched baseball in the past year, but trading Mookie wasn't a good idea. Like, just straight up, plain, nothing to it. I know there's a lot of factors, but like literally, I think there are several arguments to be made about why this season would have been significantly better if you were on the team. And I'm going to close the book on that one. Jess, your turn.
Okay. I would rather party with Michael Jordan than Dennis Rodman. I think that Michael Jordan would have a far better time on a night out than Rodman.
Wow, Jess, didn't know you felt that way.
Freezing cold.
Cold take.
Dennis is like, when I want to really go out and party at night, I like channel my inner Dennis Rodman.
Oh gosh. Okay, I picked another. Okay, I'm ready for the next one.
So guys, we give each other 7 and we're each reading 5.
And we get to pick 5. We get to pick 5.
Yeah, so.
Okay, this one is, oh God. The Celtics shouldn't spend big money and offer Jason Tatum a 5-year max extension in this offseason, and instead go for veteran talent for less money and build around Gordon Hayward and hope they make the Eastern Conference Finals again. That would hurt. That's fresh. And it's also,
well, see, the one that's not so bad about it is that there's no goddamn way that the Celtics aren't going to offer him the max extension. And I think
I know. That's the silver lining to that one.
Is that you're safe there, and that's just so far out ridiculous that it shouldn't even count.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
What do you got?
The Cohen majority ownership is going to absolutely destroy the franchise. The Wilpons have invested the time and money to this team, and they are just about to turn a corner, which they can't do with Cohen buying the team.
Wow.
Oh my God, that is like so classic because the Wilpons stink. Oh, I'm so glad that Steve Cohen bought the Mets.
Okay. Now that Brady is, oh my God. Now that Brady is on the Bucks, it only makes sense for me to cheer for them now. Bandwagoning is so cool. These remind me of those things where people are like, if you were kidnapped and had to tweet something, what would you tweet?
So people would know
no,
that.
it wasn't you. Yeah.
Oh, this is funny. Oh my God. I'm going to pick this one.
Okay.
The Giants are going to bring some of the most exciting football to prime time this season. Can't wait to see how far they go. Which is so funny, and the only reason I skipped to it was Sunday I was working at the restaurant I work at, and I watch some football, like, you know, here and there when I get to go see it and it's slow. Walk out. They were playing at 1 p.m. against the 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
So it had to be, I think it was like 23 to like 6 when I walked outside. And I was in the kitchen and I walked out and I was like, there was not a lot of people in the bar. And I was like, yo, turn this fucking game off. Like, this is garbage. I was like, who's watching this? I'm like yelling in the bar. I'm so angry. I'm like, we have got to put any other game that's on at 1 p.m.
They're like,
on.
but Jess, this is the in-market game. And you're like, but why?
No! They're like, well, we're all Giants fans. That's great. I'm like, do you want to, like, be depressed for the rest of the Sunday? It's beautiful out. Like, if you're just going to be that, like, nobody's even doing shots right now watching
You're
this.
like, this is awful.
Oh, that was bad. That was bad.
Oh my gosh.
Shit, I'm fired up.
Okay, ready?
I'm sweating.
This one's just straight up dumb. Marist college football would give Nick Saban a run for his money. Oh my Lanta. SEC is back. Woo.
Oh, great. Everyone's going to get coronavirus.
Woo.
Oh, nervous
All right.
sweat.
You're up.
Here we go.
Is this the last one? No,
You have one more and
I have one more and you have two more. Okay, go.
See, now, like, these ones are about the Knicks and I like that. So sensitive.
I'm so sensitive.
I'm really excited to watch James Dolan next season as the Knicks owner. He's doing a fantastic job. He's doing such a good job that he gets into fights with the only good thing that we have going for us, which is, like, our fans, people that support us. Fuck him.
Okay, I have a question. Would you rather have James Dolan be the Knicks owner for eternity, or you, Jess King, would have to go to every single show that James Dolan plays, like with his band?
I would take one for the team and just chop my ears off and go to every single show that he plays with his band. So then, even if he's not the Knicks owner and we're going with the thing that the Knicks are cursed, and even when he is no longer with us.
Do you think the Knicks are cursed?
I don't know. I really don't know because, like,
is there a theory?
In my head, in my nightmares,
okay, so
yes.
This isn't like a thing. This is like a you thing.
No, this is a me thing.
Okay.
But, like, because I wasn't around, like, existing on this earth that I know of when the Knicks were cool.
Some people call it born.
Existing on this earth that I know of, I don't know. It's just like, even when he's gone, like, if my ears are chopped off, period, and I have to still go to see his band watch, at least if they're still bad, I don't have to hear all the people booing at them.
Okay.
When I go to Knicks games.
I can appreciate that, I guess.
And then I'll just poke my eyes. Then I'll just poke my eyes with force and then pretend that they're winning. All
right, so this is the last one. This is fun. The Chicago Bulls definitely would have won their NBA Finals without Dennis Rodman. We both used a Rodman one.
That's why I laughed when I saw.
Oh, that's good.
We emailed this to each other, and I saw Dennis Rodman pop up on the email,
And you were
I
like,
started
okay, I'll do it.
laughing because I did Dennis Rodman also. And my last one, DeGrom needs to step it up. He has plenty of run support. If you believe that, I'm sorry. I cannot
Unsubscribe.
help you. Unsubscribe. I can't help.
Unsubscribe. Okay. Moment of the week. Jess, what do we got last week? I'm just changing the subject because it's going to hurt too much to talk about these.
I know. These ones, we really did each other dirty on these.
I know.
Like,
we were
went
mean.
straight for the home front. All right.
Well, we're both so easy. Like, we really, it's really easy for us to, like, get at each other.
We're just predictable and basic girls that like sports, I guess. Like,
Okay.
all we did was go for hometown teams.
Yeah.
All right. Moment of the week. Winner last week, Russell Wilson, 5 touchdowns. Fucking killing it. Really, he's solid. So he won last week. He's in the moment of Hall of Moments of Fame. We haven't got that
Moment of the
far.
week Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So new things. My moment of the week. Delonte West, former NBA player. A picture had gone out of him homeless, like a viral picture of him and where he had ended up. And Mark Cuban decided to step in. And he actually, with the help of Mark Cuban reuniting Delonte West with his mother, he checked into rehab. Hopefully, we will hear him doing better the next time he comes around the news cycle, because kind of a super nice thing to do. And that's a good moment for the week.
That is a really good one. You always have like these really nice ones. Mine is, where did it go? So, this is like a weird little thing, but I guess the moment is me finding this out. The sitcom Schitt's Creek won a bunch of Emmys last week, and in that, people found out that the set where there's a motel in the show, and the motel it's a real motel, and it's in Canada, and it houses like basketball players for these different basketball camps that are done in Canada. And Jamal Murray used to stay there. So combination of my interest in basketball, Jamal Murray, and Schitt's Creek. So yeah, that was like cute.
I like that.
My dad told me that, and then I saw it on Twitter, and I was like, that's fun. All right, so those are our moments of the week. Vote on Twitter and Instagram what you thought the moment of the week was.
At Throwin_Down on both platforms. One last order of business, Lily.
Oh, my tweet's good. Do you want to? How do you feel?
No, you go with your tweet.
Okay,
first.
but mine's really good, and we might want to close with it. Like, mine's really good.
Like, really, really good.
Like, it might be a good closer. And I'm not saying yours isn't, but just like do some inner reflecting. Is yours close worthy?
No.
Okay, then you go first.
All right, hold on. I don't know. Now I'm stressed. I can't. This one's funny. Imagine if we picked the same one. I don't know if we did. I doubt it. We have completely different.
If you picked mine, I'm going to be sad.
All right, so this will be so funny. Okay, so Donovan Mitchell today tweeted, "Yo, I don't know how some of the ladies in my Soul Cycle class do it, but we 35, 40 minutes in and I'm dead tired, barely pedaling. But they're in there screaming, woo, going fast as hell, like they just started."
Okay. Who tweeted that? Donovan Mitchell?
Yes.
Retweet, endorse that. Because
I just retweeted it.
I've been to Soul Cycle, and I really like biking. Like, I think that's a really fun, like, form of exercise. But that shit is fucking hard, man. It is hard. And they also do the whole, the big thing I thought was really interesting about Soul Cycle is, like, the whole point is, like, you're in a room and it's dark. Like, it's completely dark, so you don't see other people, so you're not, like, trying to compete with anybody. You're not trying to, like, I don't know, be better or like whatever, or compare yourself to people. It's really about you. And like your inner goals and whatever. And so the instructor's always yelling that, like, reflect. Like, who are you?
Woo!
Who do you want to be? And that, I'm also like biking and I'm like, oh my God, like I'm not going to make it. And then they're like, who are you? What do you want to be? And I'm like, oh my gosh, not the time. Like,
I can only do one thing at once, bitch.
But then, so another thing about Soul Cycle is the Soul Cycle gym, studio, whatever you call it, near me, they have opened in the midst of COVID, but their regulations are that it's all outside now. So they moved all the bikes to the parking lot. It's in this like shopping center or whatever. And so all the bikes are outside and under a tent. And so I'm like, oh, so not only is it not like pitch black in there now and you can't see other people in your class, now everybody at the shopping center, like it's right when you pull in
0 to 100.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, literally now I'm exercising on display.
so
not me, because I don't go, but so okay, my tweet of the week. This is really good. So there's a few pieces to it. Mark Titus tweeted got this text out of the blue 3 years ago. He tweets the screenshot. The name is Duncan. And the text reads, "Hey Mark, my name's Duncan Robinson and I'm a senior on the men's basketball team at Michigan. I'm reaching out to you because for one of my classes, we are asked to connect with somebody in the industry that we are interested. I am a big fan of The Ringer and specifically your work. Was wondering if you would have some time to connect so I could potentially learn more about your role as a staffer at The Ringer in general. Hope all is well with you." So he says, got this text out of the blue 3 years ago, read the text, hopped on the phone a couple days later and talked for an hour about getting into sports media because he thought his basketball career was winding down. 3 years later, he's about to start in the NBA finals. What a world. So, like, first of all, that's just unreal that Duncan Robinson was literally in the same position that you and I are in right now. And he texted Mark Titus and
in 3 years, we will not be in the same position as him at all.
And then Duncan Robinson just beat my hometown team to make it to the NBA finals. Now, the text that I'm really wanting to showcase here is Roger Sherman quoted the tweet, and his tweet was, "The subtext here is that talking for an hour about a career in sports media scared Duncan Robinson straight and convinced him that he needed to become the best shooter in the NBA." And that is the only tweet I care about. Thank you very much. This has been Thrown Down. I'm going to go play wall ball with my lacrosse stick, and I will see you all later.
And guys, it's never just sports, I promise. Ask Duncan.
Yeah, so also, awesome Duncan Robinson story that I had no idea about. But we're still here. We're still kicking. We're going to keep doing this.
I'm not afraid of the sports media industry.
I'm not
Sorry,
afraid.
Duncan.
Let's do it. High five.
Bam.
All right, this has been another episode of Throwin Down with Jess and Lily. I'm Lily Caffrey-Levine.
I'm Jess King.
And
it's never just sports, guys.
we will see you next time. Have a good one.